Good morning, dear students. I hope you all are fine and healthy. Today we are going to start our new chapter number 13, Motion and Time. We have already read about motion in class 6. So, do you remember what is motion? Whenever an object changes its position with time, it is said to be in motion. So, if the position of an object changes with the time, it is known to be in motion. There are four main different types of motion, that are rectilinear motion, circular motion, rotational motion and periodic motion. The motion of some objects is fast, whereas the motion of other objects is slow. Suppose if we take 20 minutes to cover a distance of 4 kilometers from bicycle, and if we go by car, we cover the same distance in 5 minutes. That means we travel 4 kilometers in 5 minutes by car. So we can say that the bicycle moves slow, or we can say that the car moves faster than the bicycle, because the car is covering the same distance in less time. So an object which takes more time to cover a distance, it is known to be slow, or it is said to be slow, whereas the other object which takes less time to cover the same distance, it is known to be fast. Like in this example, the car was covering the same distance in less time, so it is known as fast, whereas the bicycle was known as slow. Now, how can we find out whether the object is moving slow or fast? We can find out with the help of its speed. Now, what is this speed? Speed means the distance traveled by an object in unit time. This unit time can be 1 hour, 1 minute or 1 second. So whatever distance an object travels in the unit time, it is known as its speed. A slow moving object is said to have a low speed, whereas a fast moving object is said to have a high speed. So an object which is moving with high speed, it will cover the distance in short time or less time. So the speed of an object gives us the idea how fast or slow an object is moving. Now, how can we calculate the speed? We can calculate the speed by dividing the total distance traveled by the object by the total time taken to cover that distance. So speed is equal to total distance traveled by the object divided by total time taken. Suppose there is an object which travels 100 kilometers in 4 hours. So if we have to find its speed, then we will use this formula. So total distance traveled here is 100 kilometer, whereas the total time taken is 4 hours. So 100 upon 4. When we will divide 100 from 4, we will get the answer 25. So the speed of this object is 25 km per hour. Or we can also say that this object travels a distance of 25 km in every hour. The distance traveled by the object divided by the total time taken gives us the average speed of that object. It is because while traveling we have to stop at many places, or we have to apply the brakes. So right now we have calculated that there is an object which is traveling with a speed of 25 km per hour. So it does not mean that this object is always traveling at 25 km per hour speed. It may be more when the object is on the straight and plain road, but when the object will be on bend or mountains or in hilly areas, the speed may be less. So this 25 km per hour is just a average speed. There are various units of speed like meter per minute, meter per second, kilometer per hour, centimeter per second, and the standard unit of speed is meter per second. And if we have to compare the speed of two objects, then we must know the speed of both the objects in the same unit. Like if we want to compare the speed of a car and truck, they should be in the same unit. Like if the speed of car is given in kilometer per hour, so the speed of truck should also be in the kilometer per hour. And if the speed of car is in meter per second, then the speed of the truck should also be in meter per second. An instrument that is used to measure the speed of an object, it is known as speedometer. Whereas the instrument that is used to measure the distance traveled by an object, it is known as odometer. So to find the speed of an object, we need to know two things. First is distance traveled or the distance covered by that object, and the second is the time taken to cover that distance. If the speed of an object that is moving in a straight path remains constant or remains fixed, then it is said to have a uniform motion. If an object is having a uniform motion, then it travels equal distances in equal intervals of time. In case of uniform motion, the average speed of the object is equal to its actual speed. We rarely find any object that travels with uniform motion in daily life for a long period of time. If the speed of an object that is moving in a straight path keeps on changing, or we can say the speed does not remains constant, then the object is said to have a non-uniform motion. An object which is traveling with a non-uniform motion, it covers unequal distances in equal intervals of time. Now we will learn about measurement of time. Time means the moment or the duration in which something occurs. The knowledge of time is essential for us to carry out our daily activities. For example, our school starts at a particular time. So to know the time, we use a watch or a clock so that we can reach the school on time. Similarly, we need to know time to catch bus, train, aeroplane and do many other activities which are related to the time. We measure the time with the help of clocks or watches. But in the olden days, people were not having watches or clocks. So how they used to measure the time? In ancient times, people used some natural phenomena which repeated after regular intervals of time. For example, it was observed that the full moon occurs after a fixed interval of time and the sunrise also occurs after fixed interval of time. So the time from one full moon to the next full moon was called a month, and the time from one sunrise to the next sunrise is called a day. For measuring the time smaller than a day, a number of devices were invented in the ancient days like the sundial, sand clock and water clock. They were used to measure the time that is smaller than a day. A sundial measures the time with the help of the shadow that is formed by the sun. We know that the sun rises in the east and during the daytime it appears to move in the sky and finally it sets in the west. Due to the movement of the sun in the sky, the position of the shadow of an vertical object on the ground also keeps on changing. The sundial has a triangular blade which is fixed vertically to a dial that is having time marked on it. The sun forms a shadow of this vertical blade on the dial. As the position of the sun changes in the sky, the position of shadow on the dial also keeps on changing, which gives the time of the day. We can still see ancient sundial at Jantar Mantar in Delhi and Jaipur in Rajasthan. Sand clock. It is also known as sand glass or sand hour. It uses the flow of sand from one glass bulb to another for measuring the time. A sand clock is made up of two glass bulbs that are joined together by a narrow tube. Some sand is filled in a glass and the outer ends of both the glasses are closed. When the sand clock is kept in such a way that the entire sand is in the upper bulb, so the whole sand flows down to the lower bulb slowly in a fixed interval of time. And when it is to be used again, so it is inverted so that the sand containing bulb comes upside. Water clock uses the rate at which the water flows from one vessel to the other vessel to measure the time. Every time the upper vessel is filled with the water, it takes equal time to drip the whole water in the lower vessel. These devices such as sundial, sand clock and water clock, they cannot be used to measure very small times such as minutes, seconds. The measurement of small time such as second, minute became possible when the pendulum clock was invented. We will learn about the pendulum in our next video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye. Take care.